Hey there, lady. I'm Molly Connolly, your coach and hype woman on this journey to transforming your love life. Whether you're navigating life after divorce, exploring the world of online dating, or deepening the connection in your committed relationship, I'm here for you. Why me? Because I walked this path myself. From filing for divorce just 3 years into marriage, to swimming in the online dating pool into my late 30s, and finally marrying the man of my spreadsheet dreams right before the world changed forever. I've seen it all. As a relationship coach, I empower women to create love lives filled with clarity, connection, and confidence. This podcast is all about building a strong foundation for a healthy relationship with yourself and your future partner. I believe the man of your spreadsheet dreams is worth the wait, and together we'll ensure that you are ready for him when he arrives. Join me each week as we dive into insightful discussions and hear from savvy guests. You'll gain the courage to break free from limiting beliefs, recognize and change patterns that are holding you back, and learn to prioritize the number one relationship in your life, the one you have with yourself. So let's embark on this exciting journey together. Welcome to Reinventing the Arena. Hey there, lady. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I am so glad you're here because I'm ready to get into something every single one of us struggles with in multiple areas of our lives. And that's rejection. We have all experienced it and we all have done it. The feelings around rejection suck. They literally drag you down to your lowest of lows on either the giving or receiving end. But how can you do it with authenticity? How can you accept rejection in a way that benefits you? How can you let someone else down with ease, even if you know it could cause them pain? That's what we will get into today and more. So, if you haven't already, you may want to break out your journal or some sort of way to take notes. If you're not able to, because maybe, you're driving or working, save this episode and come back to it. I will also recommend listening to the last episode about dating authentically. There's so much to go into with dating authentically, especially because each and every person's experience is unique. The last episode will give you a specific area, such as your online dating profile, and a few deeper areas where you need to use your resources, which is time, energy, and effort, and maybe even money to work through. Now, rejection comes in many forms in your love life. It can be ghosting from dating apps or a first date. It can be your partner not answering your questions. It can be you sharing something vulnerable and hearing silence or a reaction you weren't really ready for. The fear of rejection in any stage of your love life is real and it's powerful. Because of past experiences with rejection, you already have a treasure chest full of memories, emotions, physical sensations, and even reactions ready. It's a treasure chest full of the things you never want to experience again, which is why you want to avoid rejection at all costs. And sometimes that means saying or doing something just to keep someone around, anyone around, so that you avoid the rejection treasure chest. It's when you stay in the marriage because at least you know the rejection you feel from your partner is normal. You can't imagine putting yourself out in the dating world at this stage in life. It's when you reject the person you meet online as fast as possible because you get a feeling he's about to reject you as well. It's even being a people pleaser, trying to keep the peace in relationship because at least it makes him happy. All of this leads to inauthentic behavior in your love life, and you can never get rid of that rejection treasure chest. You're carrying around the large, heavy chest with memories like the first time you felt unworthy of attention, unworthy of affection, and even unworthy of love. Throughout the experiences and over the years, you've learned new ways of carrying this large, heavy chest. So it's not as cumbersome, right? But these are only coping mechanisms and they can't help you ditch the chest altogether. The good news is that you can ditch the rejection treasure chest. You can create your own map to the final destination, which is somewhere buried far, far away from who you are at your core. So, in order to do that, you need to look at your current and past rejections. Yes, those are ones in the treasure chest. You can start practicing reframing the situation. So, instead of making up a story about why you were rejected or what it says about you, it's time to shift those thoughts outward and reframe them around the experience. So, for example, ghosting is a larger issue than most people realize. It happens to almost every client I've worked with. It happened to me numerous times as well. But between 70 and 80% of people think it's okay to ghost someone, even though they don't like being ghosted themselves. And ghosting isn't just a dating issue, but it's a relationship issue. You can be ghosted by your friends, family, and even coworkers. You know, that person who doesn't answer an email, maybe a Teams message, or however you communicate in your organization for hours or even days. And in the meantime, you start to make up stories about why that person didn't respond to you. Did you say something wrong? Are they mad at me? Are they talking to others before they get back to me? See how all three of those questions can be applied to all of your relationships? It's not just your love life. So, in order to reframe a situation like this, you need to think about your everyday life. Maybe they had a work meeting back to back and forgot to respond. Maybe they're traveling for work. Maybe they forgot their cell phone in their car. Maybe they don't like to communicate over text. Maybe they really don't know how they feel about you yet and they need more time. And if it's a longer time that has passed, you can apply the reframe with gratitude, such as, I am so glad this didn't work out, as I would rather be in a relationship with someone who can communicate on a regular basis. Get out your journal and think of a recent time that you were ghosted. What stories did you tell yourself? What feelings came up? How would you like to reframe that situation? But what if you're in a relationship? Reframing situations in a committed relationship can be more difficult than dating because most of the time you are interacting with this person on a daily basis. So apply the same technique of everyday reframes and then take a step back. Go ahead and journal about a recent time you felt rejected in your relationship. What stories did you tell yourself? What feelings came up for you? What reframe can you make to improve how you felt and what you thought about that situation? Since reframes can lead you further into assumptions when you're in a relationship, it's good to get clarity from your partner. So, for example, you could say, last night when I brought up X, Y, and Z, you didn't say anything, and it made me feel like I was invisible. It really hurt. I'm curious why you didn't acknowledge me. Starting off a conversation focused on you by using I statements is important. It redirects the attention to you and it doesn't point fingers. Adding in that you're curious creates an opportunity for them to share their point of view, where they hopefully acknowledge your feelings. Including your feelings in the middle without saying, you made me feel this way, shows that you're owning your emotions and that you're being vulnerable. Plus, being vulnerable shows that you have or want to build trust with your partner. Now that you have reframed the situation through journaling, how do you pull in authenticity and move forward? Review what you wrote down. What can you learn about yourself from how you reframed that situation? For example, let's say you never heard back from someone after a first date. You sent them a follow up text 12 to even 24 hours later saying how much you enjoyed their company and asked if they wanted to get together the next weekend, maybe. And then you heard no response. There's a lot of learnings you could gather from this situation. One of them could be understanding what kind of expectations you have around communication. Are they reasonable? Are they clear? Are you sitting around waiting for a response? Or for him to make the first move and ask you out on a second date. And with all of that saying, how are those impacting your current situation, your thoughts and feelings? Figuring out what bothered you once you made the situation neutral with a reframe will help you start unpacking what's been locked in the rejection treasure chest. You are able to approach it from a new perspective filled with curiosity as you learn more about yourself and what you want. And when you do this, you're building more authenticity in your approach to dating. How? Because now you can remind yourself what you learned. You're able to be mindful in the moment because now you have that awareness. You're able to reframe situations, be mindful about the rejection that is bothering you, and approach dating with authentic curiosity. Every date is an opportunity to learn more about yourself with or without rejection. Now, what if you're not interested in someone after a date or even after a few dates? For safety reasons, I always ask women to do this over text. It's not the most compassionate form of letting them know, but your safety comes first. Yes, of course, you could ghost him, but then you are contributing to a problem or situation you have also hate being on the receiving end of. So be the change and set the standard. To be authentic when letting someone know you're no longer interested, you need to be honest, respectful, and compassionate. Start off being kind, such as, I've enjoyed getting to know you over the past few dates. You'll also want to be direct, so you can add, but I don't feel a romantic connection moving forward. Here, you're not beating around the bush. Clearly communicating your feelings, but frame them gently to avoid causing unnecessary hurt is a good way to go. If you want to take this a step further, make sure to take responsibility by using I statements in your message. Once again, you are owning your feelings instead of making it about the other person. So, an example would be, I've realized that I'm looking for something different and I want to be honest about that. You also want to make sure you avoid hurtful reasons, even if they're true. Just focus on the compatibility or feelings rather than critiquing the person. One example that I think needs more crafting is, I think we might be looking for different things right now. When you say something as open-ended as I think and might be and different things, it can cause a lot of confusion and more conversation to come up from the person on the other end. Instead, try a combination of the previous examples with, while I enjoyed getting to know you, I have gained more clarity with what I'm looking for in a future relationship. And I don't feel a romantic connection moving forward. No matter what, always, always, always respect their feelings. You can acknowledge the time and effort that they put into getting to know you, and you can thank them for it. An example would be, I really appreciate the time we've spent together and all the effort you have made. If the conversation turns emotional, stay calm and compassionate, but firm in your decision. I've mentioned this prior, but in order to cut the cord energetically, I recommend blocking the number after you've sent the response. This way, you no longer have to worry about the person contacting you if they're angry or upset in any way. No matter what, ending things gracefully allows both people to walk away with respect and a positive mindset. All right, lady, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, subscribe or follow the podcast so you never miss one. And if you enjoyed this one, I'd love to hear about it. Leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts as it helps more women like yourself find the show. If you want more content like this, follow me on Instagram at Reinventing the Arena and join my email list. I will leave the links in the show notes. Have a wonderful day, and I will chat with you again next week. Thank you for joining me on the Reinventing the Arena podcast. I'm your host, Molly Connolly, a relationship coach devoted to helping women reinvent their love lives. Tap the subscribe button so you never miss out on an episode. You can always find me on Instagram at Reinventing the Arena or learn more from me on my website at reinventingthearena.com.